Welcome to Socially Unfiltered,
That's the sleaziest tactic I have ever heard.
I cannot believe they would say that to you.
an open discussion all about social media, entrepreneurship, pop culture, and everything in between.
We're just some DIY girlies.
It costs $0 to support your friends.
You'll go on deep dives and doom scrolls with your hosts, Lex and V, to uncover the stories behind the headlines and look at everything through an unfiltered lens.
I want to relive the 2000s.
Not the trauma dumping on a Monday.
So grab a drink and get ready for a lot of yapping. Don't worry, there's no quiz at the end.
Strategy is such a buzzword.
English isn't my first language, so that's my excuse.
This is the Socially Unfiltered podcast.
Back at it again.
Hello.
See if we remember how to do this. Hi.
Took a week off, but we're back.
We're back again.
Better than ever.
Thanks for bearing with us. It was a long week.
I know, it's like weird to not record for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have an exciting episode today for all of our business owners, social media managers,
Mhm.
all things organizing, all things workflows and processes and platforms, and just any tips and tricks from us and what we do and how we've kind of set up our workflows to work smarter, not harder. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're going to talk all about managing multiple accounts. So if you are a business owner who has a bunch of different accounts for your business, I know that's sometimes the norm. I have a client that has 2 different accounts for different sectors of their business. If you are a social media manager who's just managing multiple accounts, I feel like sometimes it can feel like just posting for your clients takes up a significant part of your day. So we're
Mhm.
always trying to make that process a little, like you said, work smarter, not harder. So
Yes.
a little more time efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of, again, tips that we'll share with you for that. And we're super excited.
Yes, I feel like the number one thing is just being organized, and we've talked about this before, like
Mhm.
just having everything in one place, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have like a separate work phone and all these things. Like that comes, I think, once you're a little more established in your business. Like I just started with just my phone and a laptop and Google
Mhm.
Drive, and the free things are just the best and can get you really really far. And honestly, even now I feel like we use like a lot of free
Mhm.
things that don't really require all these like crazy platforms and like crazy subscriptions. So I just think keeping it simple, keeping it organized, like we both of us, we use Google Drive for like folders and keeping client work separate. Even like in our phones, we have all of our apps in one place and like everything for work on one page, everything for personal on another page. Just little things like that I think can go a long way in making you feel like you are organizing your day to day instead of like
Mhm.
chaotically having random things in like text messages or like all these other different platforms like Dropbox, and then you do Google Drive and you do like
Mhm.
WeShare and whatever. Like just set up one thing where you have it all in one place and your client can have it all in one place, and that's just like the easiest way that I've found, at least for me.
Yeah, it's like essential that you know where something is going. I know it. I have always been somebody who like I screenshot a million things or like I'm
Mhm.
saving a post because I want to use it for a client or something. And then the time comes that I actually need it. I'm like, oh my God, where did I put that?
Yeah.
And it really comes down to just like disciplining yourself. Like you have certain folders on, like I now on Instagram have a folder for each of my clients. And when I come across a reel or a sound or something that I want to use for them, it gets saved to that folder. Like just every aspect of
Mhm.
my digital life for clients is organized like that. Google Drive, they each have their own folder. And
Photo
there's
album, everything.
yeah, for everything. And like on
Mhm.
my home screen, even like there's a folder for like on the home screen of my phone, like Instagram, Facebook, the scheduling platform that I use, Asana, like all of that is in one
Mhm.
folder so that it's not even platform fatigue of switching over to this folder when you have to
Mhm.
post for somebody. And like you said, if somebody texts you something, it's you know exactly what folder of your photo album it's going
Yeah.
into, and just knowing where things go is like incredibly important.
Yeah. And I like am guilty of sometimes getting lazy with it. Like if I save like one client's things and then I move on and I'm like saving the next client's things, I forget to like put them in the folders. But then it's so annoying because when you're trying to look for the specific thing, you're like,
Mhm.
it's not in the folder. It's just in my like camera roll.
Mhm.
And then you have to go searching for it. So I feel like also setting aside time to like organize everything because stuff does pile up. And with the amount of content you're getting, like at content shoots, or if like the client is providing you content, I just know I feel like I get overwhelmed with the amount of content I have in my phone that
Mhm.
I won't even like go back and post a video that I did if it's not in my folder because I'm just not going to be searching for it in my camera roll.
Right.
So take the time to organize your camera roll, your Google Drive, everything, delete old stuff, old screenshots. Like just set yourself up for success because and I know like it's easier said than done because I still
Mhm.
need to actually set aside time and do that with my folders.
Same. Same. I mean, I definitely
It's
don't,
I
it's
think
not
about
in
it every
every
day and it stresses me out. I'm like, "Oh my
yeah,
god, I really need to organize my folders. I really need to organize my folder."
it's definitely something like I try to at least once a month, and I usually
Yeah.
do it on the 1st of the month. Like, I'm just such a psycho with, like, everything that I do on the 1st of the month that in there is, like, literally sitting down to organize, like, my camera roll, my screenshots, whatever. What I'm really bad about doing it on, though, is my work phone because I
Yeah.
just use my work phone camera for client content. So it's not like I feel like I ever really need to clean anything out. I have, like, the unlimited storage, but I stopped working with 2 clients recently and was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I can, like, go through and delete a bunch of stuff from them."
Mhm.
And, I did it on the plane home on Sunday, and it ended
Mhm.
up being, like, 14,000 videos, like,
Yeah.
literally just holding and, like, dragging down from, like, the amount of shoots I've done with this client. Like, it was just so much, and I was like, "I
Yeah.
can't believe I just let that sit there for this long."
Yeah, I had to do that too with my 2 clients, and I was like, "Goodbye." And
Mhm.
it's, like, the best feeling. But usually, yeah, I feel like I do it on a plane. I don't know
It's always
why.
on a
I think for
plane.
a lot of people, it's like
Yeah.
you just go through your camera roll, your notes, like, literally on the past,
Mhm.
on my plane to Dallas, I would, like, organized all of my notes, everything as a folder. I,
Yep.
like, deleted old shit, but that was my personal phone. Like, my work phone is a whole other thing too. Like,
Mhm.
you have to do it for both when you have
Same.
2 phones. So,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
hard, but, you know,
It's
do
a
as
lot
we
to keep
say,
up
not
with.
as we do.
But I think one of the best things and, like, what we can leave people with from tips for organizing is, like, set yourself up for that in the beginning. Like, a lot of it is, like, you have to get yourself in the habit of, like, when you screenshot something, be like, "This needs to go into a folder now." If you don't have a folder that it fits in, like, put it in there because then at least you're like, kind of, again, getting yourself in the, like, habit of doing it, and it's a lot easier than, like, we are talking about having to go back through and organize, like, from the beginning, like, figuring out what needs to go where, you're searching for something all over the place. So,
Mhm.
if you can do anything that we did not do, and maybe even now don't do 100% correctly, just give yourself the starting point, like, put the folders in there and then try to use them as much as possible. But it really helps when it does, and it's like it makes it fun for you when it is easy. So,
Yeah.
try to get in the habit of using them.
Yeah. Agree. I need to be better about that too, especially on like the first of the month because there's so much that I do on the first of the month, and
Mhm.
then sometimes when I just like run out of time, I'm like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, and then I don't do it.
Mhm. Yep.
Procrastinating these things is normal too.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice in theory to say that you would do 100% of everything that you should do, but it
Yeah.
doesn't always happen.
No, that's okay. Excuse the interruption, but I'm just checking in to see if you've joined our group chat yet. If you haven't, pause this episode right now and text the word group to 833-459-3349. There's a surprise waiting just for you. Okay, yeah. So the next thing, organizing your schedule, huge.
Mhm.
You got me into using Google Calendar. and like time blocking, and now I feel like I am just so much more efficient in my day to day. Like I just used to write what I had to do on like a paper and be like, okay, this is what I have to do today, but I never
Right.
time blocked or like had certain hours that I was like doing things, or like certain days of the week are like dedicated to specifically something. So I feel like it was just always kind of chaotic. But
Mhm.
now I feel like you taught me the correct, not the correct, but like a really good method of like time
It makes you
blocking.
sound like I have put you through like a like correctional facility
So I went
training.
through boot camp Marlette and I came out on the other side, baby.
Came out a more organized, time
Well, I was
efficient
just like,
person.
can
No,
I
I'm
see
just
what your
kidding.
calendar looks like? Because I remember like seeing a glimpse of it in a video or something, and I was like, wow, this looks like really nice. Like, how do I do
My
that?
calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I wait, can I
No, no, no,
share
no.
it?
I'm saying I asked you to see your calendar.
Oh, I thought you meant like right now. I was like, sure. I was like, how do I screen share with you? Well, and Nugs is still whining. He's distracting me. I'm overstimulated from him. I don't know what he wants. I brought his food in
Show
here.
me your calendar right
I literally
now.
was like, sure. Yeah.
How do I share my screen?
I'm like, how do I do that?
Oh my god. No, I'm like I asked you like one day, can I see your calendar? And you were like, yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is why you're
Oh
psychotic.
my god, this is so funny. No, it helped so much. And now I like have a calendar for everything, like for my like spray tan thing, for us socials by V, for podcast, for everything. Like everything is laid out and it's time blocked. Not that I follow the time blocks all the time, but
No, the time blocks are free to move around. That's been
yeah,
established when we talk
they
about
move.
this before. But what it really helps with is like say, I don't know, because I also am like a list person. Like I'm also like a pen and paper. Like I want to write
Yeah.
down like my to-do list for the day. And it's hard sometimes to like know exactly how long something will take and like how much can I realistically get done of this today. And then it starts to feel like you're kind of like never getting enough of it done. And it might just be that you're giving yourself like too high expectations of things you'll
Yeah.
get done for that day. So it's good to just put it on there. And also like Google Calendar specifically, like I use the descriptions of events on my calendar all the time. So like if you go in and like hit edit, you can go down to the description. Like if I have like a client like time block on there, like I'll just go in and like write notes to myself. So like it's good for like also kind of keeping track of not only the things that you have to do, but you can add like the to-do list in under your client name. Like I just love Google Calendar.
I know.
Also, speaking of which, Google Docs added a new feature today. I don't know if you saw it.
No. What is it?
You can basically have docs inside of docs. So like they're called tabs. So like you can like have the doc that you open and then you can create a sub tab like under that doc. It's really cool. I'm going to play around with it,
Oh,
but
okay.
if you check in on our doc in the next few days and it looks a little different,
I'm excited.
it's because a new feature came out.
Okay.
Um,
Slay.
but yeah, definitely it just helps you to visualize what you have to do that day and to see again like where you're fully spending your time and like we've talked about before, like especially when I'm like time lapsing a day in the life or something, I'm like, oh, I spent
Mhm.
20 of those 30 minutes scrolling Instagram
Yeah.
reels looking for inspo. I'm like, that's not as productive as I wanted it to be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it just
No, it
helps to see.
helps. It helps so much. Definitely utilize Google Calendar or whatever calendar app you want to
Mhm.
use, but I feel like it's just the easiest. It's free. I still like write stuff down because I do like the process of like physically seeing it in front of me all the time too.
Mhm.
So I
Oh,
like
and
that.
crossing
And
something off of a list, like, physically is,
yeah, it's
like,
so
that's
satisfying.
yeah, it's satisfying and it, like, signals to my brain that it's officially done. So,
Or
yeah,
like
big fan of that too.
setting a timer on your phone helps too. Or like I've seen people
Mhm.
get like the physical sand
Mhm.
timers, like they flip it and whenever
Mhm.
it ends, it needs to be done. And I think I'm just always somebody that works better like under pressure or like when I have limited amount of time, I bang it out. Like, I
Same.
have always been that way, even in school. Like, I would do the
Mhm.
paper the night before, and that's just who I am as a person. And
Same.
that's yeah, it's been a long journey to try to unlearn that, but I feel like I've always been the last minute person. My
Mhm.
type B ass is just has
It's
always
funny
been
though, because I feel the same way. Like, I almost would rather somebody ask me for something important, like, 2 days before than, like, 2 weeks before because I've always felt this way about even, like, getting ready. Like, say you have 20 minutes to get ready or you have 2 hours to get ready, like, you're gonna use either of those time frames. Like,
yes.
you can do either of those, and I feel like I do the same with, like,
Yeah.
work pressure. I'm like, I would
I
literally
didn't know
rather
that.
you tell me 2 days before because 'cause I'll still get it done to the same
Yes.
standard, but I won't spend 2 weeks freaking out
Yeah.
about it and
Yeah.
worrying about it every day.
I know. Exactly. So I think I need to give myself less time than I actually think I need to finish things.
Same.
So then I'll actually finish them.
Same. But I think we've talked about this before. I do always give myself, like, way more time on my Google Calendar, like, time block stuff than I
Yeah.
think I actually do. Like, more so, like, with the flexibility, like we said before, like, they can move around. It's not like well, with a lot of what we do, I feel like
Yeah.
that may not be applicable to everybody with what they're moving their time blocks around for, but client work specifically, it's pretty much up to us and our schedules when we're getting it done. So it again, they're free to move around, but it's just for you to visualize where
Mhm.
you're spending your time. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do them always a little bit longer just to give myself a little buffer time or like if I want to, I don't know, go do something that day, I know that I still have time to finish everything I'll need to do.
Mhm.
And I'm just psychotic, so
You're not. It's just organized.
yeah. It's
Organized.
just I love a schedule, I love a list. But speaking of other platforms that we use just to kind of keep ourselves organized. So I think I use Asana and you use Notion and we use them in the same way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
neither of them are technically like content scheduling platforms. You can use them for that, but at least Notion doesn't like connect to like let you auto post or anything, right?
No. No,
Yeah.
it's just like more like of a management
Mhm.
platform. I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
Like
technically, Asana's for, like,
Teams.
project management, I think, but,
Yeah,
like
that's what Notion is too, I think. Like
yeah,
project
you
management, organization, calendars,
mhm.
all that.
Notion's just way more customizable, and Asana's way more, like, it has to look a certain way, I guess, is the best
Yeah.
way to explain it, but they do the same thing, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like either of us are like, I stopped using Planoly a while ago. I still love Planoly, and I will always support them, and I never had an issue with them. I just wasn't working with enough clients that it was justifying for me to keep Planoly, so I just kind of adapted the few clients that I do post for into Asana, and a big plus of that is it's free. So
Yeah.
but something that kinda comes along with that is we obviously are doing manual posting for the clients that we post for.
Yeah.
Not
I do my static posts, I do schedule out for my clients, but reels I manually post.
yes,
So,
same. I
yeah.
just don't do any static posts for clients right now. Literally, my packages are all for only reels, but when I do static ones, those I'm fine scheduling out
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
only a certain
Reels
way that
I
it can be posted.
never wanna schedule out because I feel like there's just so many issues that go wrong with video. You can't do a cover, you can't, like,
Yeah.
do certain things when you're trying to schedule, and I just don't think they perform as good when you're
Mhm.
scheduling it out. I mean, ideally, you wanna manual post everything, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's not realistic with how many clients you might have and whatever, but
Mhm.
I use Metricool. I used to use Planoly. It's so expensive. I did like it. It was
Yeah.
just very expensive, and I was,
Yes.
like, just starting out, and I'm like, "I can't be dishing out, like, $200 a month for this
Mhm.
platform." So I found Metricool, and you can add any platform you want, Google, like, your website, all these different things, and it gives you, like, analytics and all these things, like, reports that you can send out, and I have never had an issue with I think, like, one time it logged me out or something because I removed an account, but it's also really cheap, and I don't know how it's
Mhm.
that cheap because I was paying an arm and a leg for Planoly.
Yeah, Planoly was
Metricool,
crazy expensive.
yes. Like, I think Metricool for 10 accounts, I pay like $15 a month.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
I've
mean, I don't
used
even add 10 accounts. I think I have, like,
right.
4 on there, but you
I
can.
also will second Metricool. I've used Metricool because a client came to me and was already paying for it and already had it. So I was like, I don't mind using your platform over Asana. Like it really doesn't make any
Mhm.
difference to me. And I did enjoy using it. I just have never like paid for it or chose it for anything. But I'll second it that if you're looking for a platform for scheduling purposes, I also recommend Metricool because Planoly, I feel like also has gotten even more expensive.
Yes.
And I'm not even sure like what the actual price of it is now, but
I don't know, I've seen a lot of people have issues with it too, like, things are just not
mhm,
posting or, like, they're failing, and I don't know, just all these different things. Metricool is literally the only one I haven't had issues with because I
mhm.
tried, like, Buffer,
Mhm.
Later, Planoly.
Tried later and I didn't really love
I
it.
hated Later,
Mhm.
hated Buffer. There was, like, some other one that I tried, and they just no. None of them did it like Metricool does it. Not
Mhm.
even sponsored, just love you, Metricool.
Yeah, same.
And I love just, like, the reports that it gives me because I don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to,
the
like,
reports in there are crazy.
they're so crazy, they, like, are down to everything, so I used to do
Mhm.
that manually. That's another thing for, like,
Mhm.
saving time is I used to do all my reports manually, and I
Mhm.
used to do it every single month. Now I do it quarterly,
Mhm.
and Metricool does it for me, and I just present it to the client, and it's
Mhm.
such a game changer. I used to spend, like, hours just doing manual, like, looking at all the analytics, manually typing everything out, making sure it looks pretty. I'm like,
Mhm.
it just took so much time. So,
Yeah.
that's another plus is they give you those reports.
Yes. Love
I love
that.
it.
And I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but like kind of platform fatigue is what will happen when you are using a bunch of different platforms to like keep all of your stuff all over the place. So something that I love with Asana and Notion too, obviously, is it's where we can present the content to our clients and get feedback from them, make edits, make revisions,
Mhm.
all of the above, because exactly like we said earlier, when you're kind of going all over the place and say you're like using Google Docs for your captions, but then keeping your content in Dropbox, but then the client uploads
Mhm.
content in Google Drive, like it's just all over the place. And it's again very easy to become a
Mhm.
lot and start to like hate the work that you're doing. And it's not that you hate the work that you're doing, it's that you hate the process you are setting yourself up with to do the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So condensing as much as possible. And we kind of said this earlier, but like I went from like in the beginning of my business having a ton of subscriptions, a ton of platform editors. I had Lightroom, I
Yeah.
had Tezza, I had Google Drive, I had Dropbox, I had Planoly, like all of these different platforms. And I've been able to condense it down that I pay less now than I did
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Same.
And my business is quote bigger than it was then. Like it's just funny how much I was justifying
I
for
know.
stuff in the beginning. But now like I obviously can only speak to Asana, but I'm pretty sure it's with Notion too. Like you can store content in there, you can have the captions, you can have your content calendar, like all of that stuff is all in one place. But at the same time, I do also still love like Google Docs for a lot of things.
Mhm.
Google Docs saves my life. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just like the condensing of platforms that
Yeah.
things like Asana or Notion let you do, even though they're not technically for content scheduling specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I know there are some platforms out there that you can make the calendar and you can see, like, comments and edits and whatever, and I think on Metricool, you actually can share with your client the posts. It's just, like,
Mhm.
there's no feature to, like, comment, so I don't
Right.
see the point of that. That's why I just use Notion, but it is almost, like, not even double the work, but, like, obviously the caption that I'm having for the static post, I have to, like, make the caption, put it in Metricool, and then I copy and paste it over to Notion. So that is, like, something I'm doing twice, I guess, but not really. It takes a second to, like, copy paste
Mhm.
the caption into Notion for my client to see.
Mhm.
But I just think it's better to keep everything in, like, that one place. Like, Notion is where everything lives, Google Drive is where all the content lives, and I feel like I use those 2 with clients, and it's just the easiest thing I have found that
Mhm.
works for clients because there's two things that they need to look at, and it's well, no, they don't even look at. I mean, in Google Drive, they don't look at anything. They just upload the content, or like
Right.
I'll upload the content that's edited. But Notion is the only thing they look at for the content calendar. They approve it or make comments,
Mhm.
and then we do the rest. So just keeping it as easy as possible
Mhm.
with the platforms for sure. Because I also used to have every fucking thing under the sun.
Same.
Like, and then I would like go back from using like CapCut to like what was that other one? It was like it's a video editing. It was like Split or something. I don't.
Isn't it Splice?
Yeah, I think I used that and CapCut. This like both of them, and I'm like, I just need to use one thing.
I
CapCut
still
used to
use
intimidate me.
InShot. I
Wait, no,
use
it was
in
InShot.
Oh,
That's
I use InShot on my phone if I'm editing, but if I'm editing on my computer, I use CapCut because I like the mobile
funny.
version of InShot better than CapCut's mobile version.
That's so funny. I never edit on my computer in CapCut.
I
I like
do
don't know how.
90% of the time.
Wow.
Different
See,
parts of our
that's
workflows. Yeah.
I know. That's so
I
funny.
don't even know why. I don't know if it like I just find myself choosing it more often. I think I like being able to like touch buttons rather than like trying to like drag on a screen like with my finger and stuff. I
I
don't
know.
know.
I feel like I would like it more, but then I would have to like do you just airdrop all the content to your computer? Or do you just connect to your phone or something?
It depends. So for most of my clients, the way that we share content is just through shared iPhone albums. Sometimes there's stuff going into Google Drive, but usually anything that comes from them is coming directly from their phone. So we just do the iPhone album. So I have that shared with my work computer so I can get everything off of there, if that makes sense, like if it's from them. And then if it's from a shoot that I did, sometimes I'll just put it into like one long video, like all of the clips that I need, and then airdrop that video to my computer and then do like the
Mm,
final edits on CapCut desktop.
yeah.
Or because it's on my work phone and work computer, I can just go into the iPhone album and put it in there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, basically one of the two. I'm either airdropping myself whatever I need or I'm just pulling it directly from the album on my computer. But I will say I don't think it's always necessary to do like there's no difference in like the desktop versus phone editing. Like I don't think there's any reason to like do one or the other. I think it's just
Yeah.
about
It's just if you wanna use your fingers or
yeah.
not.
Yeah. I just like using my fingers for stuff instead of like scrolling. And I feel like sometimes too, I'm doing like, I don't know, like with the lash artist, I just got done doing a ton of like voiceover content. And it was just easier for me to like, I don't know, add the voiceover like on a desktop screen than it
Yeah.
was like on my phone. I don't know, more
Yeah.
screen space. It just depends on
I know,
whatever.
I feel like it has to be easier on the desktop.
hmm
I
But
just haven't
there's
thought
also like quick, easy ones, like trends and stuff. Like a lot of the trends that I do for the gym, like I do them right on the InShot mobile
Mhm.
version.
Yeah.
It just depends on the type of content.
Mhm. Do what
But yeah,
works for you, boo.
yeah, different parts of our workflows are clearly different,
Mhm.
which is why we wanted to talk about this.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one. Keeping your social media platform notifications on silent. Yeah, we talked about this in I don't know what episode we talked about with the text messages because I have my texts on my computer and
Oh,
I
yeah.
see the bottom bar is always there. And yeah, I've
Mhm,
had to log out of my text like iMessages on my computer because especially when I'm filming like day in the life or whatever, I just notice how much I'm just on like texting in the middle of working and I'm like I could be so much more productive if
mhm,
I just didn't have these notifications because I see the notification and I want to open it.
mhm,
So not seeing it, I feel like helps a lot too. And like same thing goes for whatever other platforms that distract you. Like eliminate
mhm,
them and you won't have that temptation. I feel like just out of sight
mhm,
and you'll get a lot more done.
mhm. Yes, but keep your notifications on silent because especially if you're logged into like all of your clients' accounts on your personal phone, Like, it can definitely be a lot throughout the day, just even hearing the
Yeah.
notifications. Like, all of my clients are on silent. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry. Like, all of their accounts.
Yeah, same. Unless it's my work phone, like, on my work phone, I keep it on because 'cause I'm not really, like I only
Checking it like
yeah,
that,
like,
yeah.
I'm not checking it like my personal phone, but
Mhm.
if because I am logged into some of my clients' accounts on my personal phone.
Mhm.
I wish I wasn't, but sometimes I need to be because, like, they'll text me, like, my personal phone, and I'm like, "It's just
Right.
I'd rather just get this photo and post it than, like,
Mhm.
have to send it to my work phone and then post
Oh,
it on."
yeah, no, it's way easier to just have them
Yeah. So
logged in. I
sometimes
have some of my clients on my personal too.
but, yeah, I don't have the notifications on, so I don't see whatever is happening
Mhm.
on there all day. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a big one for sure.
that is a big one. And then speaking of having a work and a personal phone, something when it comes to platforms is eventually you're gonna hit a certain amount that Instagram will let you be logged into, the amount of accounts, and just some ways that you can kind of go about that are when I first started and before I had like a work phone, I was using my iPad as a second phone, basically. Like I was logging into some of my clients' accounts through my iPad. And now I have just kind of transitioned to having a full on work phone. What I
Yep.
will say though is I'm like a big advocate for saying that I know that's like an expensive thing. So, like, in transparency with my work phone, it's literally just on Wi-Fi. It's an iPhone that I bought flat out.
Mhm.
Um, I did have an iPad again before this that I was using in basically the same way, just on Wi-Fi. And if buying something brand new is not in the budget for you, it wasn't for me for a really long time. And even now, like I think if I were to buy something new now, don't really see the point in it being brand new. But the website Mac of all trades, I've like talked about them before. I love them. It's all certified, like refurbished Apple products. It's where my first two laptops came from and where my first iPad came from. The only reason it's new now is because I can qualify for the credit through these places now. And before I could not because I was not in a great place in that sense. But yeah, it's definitely helped me in a time where I was like, oh my God, I'm like overwhelmed with having everything on my work phone. Like I need to do something. Started with an iPad because I just didn't think of using a phone like just on Wi-Fi, which duh, it's the same thing as an iPad. It is really weird the different like dimensions of using an iPad, like
Yeah.
posting on Instagram and stuff, but
So weird.
it's yeah, but it's something that if a new iPhone isn't in the cards for you, an iPad will work just as well. But yeah, it's I think one helpful to not only separate everything just like for organization, but like also your like peace of mind knowing that you can like leave work stuff and again, you will eventually if you're logged into a bunch of accounts hit a point where Instagram's like, "Hey, you're logged into too many," and it's way more annoying to log out of an account and log back in and switch which account you're logged into. It's way more annoying to do that
Mhm.
than to budget or set the goal for yourself to get a work phone or like iPad or something.
I agree. I did the exact same thing. Mine's a
Mhm,
Wi-Fi phone, and I also had an iPad, and then I sold it, but I bought it off of somebody I saw on, like, Instagram for so cheap,
mhm,
and I had it for, like, a year, and then I sold it because I was like, "I'm not using this as much as, like." And I was having, like, my work phone and an iPad and my regular phone and a computer, and I'm like, "I this is too fucking much." And a
I'm in a
laptop.
rocket ship. Yeah.
I was literally in a rocket ship. I'm like, "I need to get rid of something," so I got rid of the iPad, but same thing, yeah, mine only works on Wi-Fi or, like, I'll turn my hotspot on if I'm, like, somewhere that doesn't have it and I use my
Mhm,
work phone, but yeah, I found that works the best, and that's so nice about the website, like, to know because I didn't know that was, like, a thing to get
mhm,
Mac things.
mhm.
That's good to
You
know.
can also the Apple website, you can go right to, like, the refurb like, you I don't remember what the actual link is, but, like, if you literally just Google, like, refurbished Apple, you can buy refurbished stuff, like, directly through Apple. Again, I'm not above doing that even now. I just
Mhm.
qualify for a credit card through Apple, so it helps with purchases sometimes.
Love that.
So, yeah, but it was not listen, we started from the bottom and made our
Yes.
way up here,
No,
and it's
for
not
real.
that great.
Yeah, no. I remember when I first got, like, my, like, curved monitor, my curved
Mhm.
Dell monitor. I was like, "Oh my god, this is like crazy."
Huge.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was huge. And it was. And then I got the Mac this year
Mhm.
desktop and I was like, "Holy shit, like this is crazy." But I think a lot of people think they need all these things in the beginning and it's like it
Mhm.
took us, I mean, for me this was 3 years in the making of getting a Mac desktop. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't just I started I literally had this like foldable fucking table in my mom's living room and I was working from that with my phone.
I
So,
had like $100 Amazon desk in the corner of my
yeah.
living room of my apartment
Yep.
and my little MacBook Air that
Yeah.
was refurbished.
So old. Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
and ran
Had a
an
little
entire
stand on it, bought a
Yep,
mouse.
yep. No, literally same. Mouse pad.
Yep. So,
I did treat myself to a new office chair. It was pink though, so, like, I'm like, "What was I thinking?" Isn't that so funny? Like, why would I ever in a million years choose that color?
yeah.
Nothing
I
against
mean, I
pink, it's
still
just
like, this chair needs to go, like, it's, like,
Oh,
creaky and,
same.
like,
Mine's,
broken,
like,
and I
creaky.
still haven't bought a new one, so,
Same.
you know, with time, with time.
With time. Maybe next year. 2025 budget.
Yeah. Right or in, I don't know, got a wedding, so fuck.
Yeah, 2026. Well,
Yeah, make it
2026,
2026.
you'll be treated to a new office chair. We know you don't need another hoodie, but we also know that you want another hoodie. Make it one from our Bonfire store where you can find all of our official socially unfiltered merch, like our It's Not That Serious crew neck, our totally unfiltered tote bag, or our new dad hats. They're all linked in the description and we can't wait to match with you.
Our last thing is workflows and processes. We kind of just talked about a little bit of it, but we'll
Mhm.
go into like more detail about content shoots and scheduling and
Mhm.
approvals and all these things and how each of us do it. We have a pretty like similar process though. We just use two different platforms, but
Mhm.
we do everything I feel the same. Like
Mhm.
in terms of client work, like the scheduling of the content shoot. And we just had a whole episode, if you haven't listened to it, about content shoots and like planning content shoots. So go listen to that if you are somebody that is trying to offer content shoots to your clients. We like broke down way more that we obviously don't want to like repeat in this one.
Yeah.
It was a whole episode in itself, planning
Yeah.
content shoots. But I think we plan the same way, like the schedule, what we're gonna get, our shot list.
Mhm.
And then obviously we just talked about editing content and like how we do that. We both do
Mhm.
CapCut. You do desktop. I use my phone, might be switching over to desktop.
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to ask because I feel like I've never asked you this, and if I have, I don't remember. Like when it comes like your actual like workflow of creating content, like do you go like post by post? Like do you edit a reel and then do the caption and then do the hashtags and then move on to the next post, or do you do like because like I do all of the editing for like 2 weeks at a time, and then
Mhm.
I do all of the captions at the same time, and then I do all of covers and at the same time, and then like all of the stories at the same time. Like I
Yeah.
don't go post by post, if that makes sense.
No, I used to go post by post, and then I was like, this is so confusing to me because I'm going from like one type of workflow to another.
Mhm.
Like, I'm in an editing zone. I have to just edit and bang it out because once I'm
Yeah,
out of that, it's like I don't want to edit anymore.
same.
So I feel like I'm the same way. You have to like lock into one thing at a time. But
Mhm.
for me, I like to lately for some reason, like I used to do like all the videos and all the editing first and then do the captions. Lately, I've been doing all the captions and hashtags and then going back and doing like the editing and aligning with the photos. Like I'll plan the content calendar of what I want the post to be and then I'll write the
Mhm.
captions because that's my least favorite part is copywriting.
Same.
So I'm like,
I've
let me just
definitely
get this done first because I found
yeah.
if I'm doing all the editing first and I uploaded it into the calendar, I'm like, now I don't want to like, I'm like, oh, I'll just do the copywriting later. And I put it off. So I feel like I
Right.
need to just do the copywriting first and then
Right.
I do the editing.
That's funny. Yeah, I've definitely switched the order. Like there have been times where like I'll plan what I want it to be, but then I'll do like the stories first, like just to get
Mhm.
them done and out of the way. Like I've definitely switched up the order that I usually do things in. But I was just curious if you went like post by post, because there's definitely times where like I'll do like a full one just like while the caption is like also fresh in my
Yeah.
head, like if I come up with something good. But that's why I like Asana too, is because I just like brain dump notes to myself like about everything. So I'm like, I can always go back and edit it. Hi, Buggy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just curious what you did, because I
Yeah.
feel like
I
I
have
jump
switched it up
around
daily.
sometimes.
Yeah. It's just I like to do my least favorite thing first and then
Mhm.
go to, like,
Yeah,
something I do like to do.
that's funny.
I don't know. I just have always wanted to do it. I feel like I'm like that with everything, though. I'm like, "Okay, what's the task I don't wanna do the
Yeah.
most? I just wanna, like, get it done." And
Yeah.
then not to say I, like, hate copywriting, like, for
No,
any of my
it's
clients
just
listening, I'm just like, I just love the creative aspect of it more than
yes.
the copywriting aspect of it.
Right. It would go last on my list of favorite things of my job, if that makes
Mhm. Yes, exactly.
sense. That's funny. So just when it comes down to managing multiple accounts, obviously you have to find what works best for you, find what works best for you in your workflow. But I also am curious if you've ever posted anything to the wrong account and how long you left it posted for.
Yeah. I remember I posted, I was working with a jeweler, and I posted it to my account, like, my socials by V, and it was, like, 2 of these things, and nobody said anything, and I, like, looked at it, and I was like, "Oh my god," it was up for, like, an hour, and, like, everybody saw it, and I think only one person said something, and they were
That's
like,
so
"Oh, I just
funny.
thought you were, like, being really supportive of your" I was posting
You're
about this,
like,
like, ring, and I was, like,
nope.
talking about the ring and whatever, I, like, put these emojis, and people were like, "I literally thought you were just being supportive."
That is
And
so
even,
funny.
like, the person I was working with there, he goes, "Oh, yeah, I just thought you were, like, excited about it."
Now you really liked this ring. That is really funny.
Oh my
I've
god.
always caught it right after. Like, anytime
Yeah.
I've ever
Most
posted
times
something
I catch it, yeah, like,
yeah,
it's been a very
like,
long time since
my
I
biggest
did
fear,
that.
though, is accidentally posting something that's meant for my, like, personal account, like, something of mine to a client account. Like, that's way more embarrassing than posting client stuff to your
Yeah,
account.
I know, I agree. That's true. Like, just working and, like, yeah,
Yeah, like,
on your clients.
to-do list for today, like, I would die if that
I
ended up
know.
on a client story, which
I
was also, like, why I felt like I needed to log out of all of the client accounts on my personal phone. The only one that's on
yeah.
there now has a very distinctive profile picture, like, difference between
Yeah, that's the one thing I need to change, now that I'm doing the SL sprays, like, those pictures are very similar, it's from the same
Oh,
shoot,
yeah, your profile
and,
pictures
like,
on
the
them? Yeah.
names look the same, it's like Socials by V or SL Sprays by V, I'm like, "Those look so similar that I need to change, like, the photo to be very, very different." I think we're having, like, a photo shoot soon, so I need
Cute.
to change it because the other day, I almost did, like,
The
post
wrong one. At
yeah,
least those
posted the
would both be
I
yours.
know, it would be like, whatever, it's fine, it's just me, but I was talking about, like, work. Or no, it was, like, content shoots that I have done, and I posted it to the spray tan thing, but I caught it right away, so I deleted
That's
it, but
funny.
yeah, it definitely
Happens to the
happens,
best of
just
us.
be careful.
That's why I always, like, after I post something, I literally always click to the profile tab and, like, refresh, like, 3
I
times
know,
and, like
I know, I have, like, PTSD from
same,
doing it, so I always have to check that too.
same.
Oh my god,
Happens to
that's
the
funny.
best of us, though.
Yep. So I feel like we covered a good amount
Mm,
for managing multiple accounts. And if there's anything we missed, just DM us on Instagram. Or if you ever have questions about like managing multiple accounts, let us know.
mhm.
If you need
Yeah,
help,
let us know if
like,
we missed anything. We're always happy to help. DM us on Instagram. And just a quick little reminder, if you enjoy our episodes and if you want to support us, one of the best ways you can do that is by leaving us a 5-star review or however you actually feel. But if it's constructive criticism, just DM it to us before you leave it,
yeah.
like in an actual review. We'll
Let
work on
us,
it
yeah,
and
let us,
then ask for a review again.
yeah. And also, if you haven't managed multiple accounts or if you're just starting out in your social media management career, we also came out with a social media management business blueprint. which goes over in a lot more depth of how to organize all of these things, what platforms we use, how we use them, all of our workflows, all of our processes that go a little bit deeper than what we just talked about. So that is also able to be downloaded in our show notes.
And we will talk to you next week. We'll be back with something spooky for Halloween. So be ready for that. Warning on that.
Yeah, if you have any spooky stories or if you have anything like crazy and you want to submit it like anonymously, just DM us. We won't use your name or anything if you don't want us to. We did this last year and it was a lot of fun to like read these crazy stories. So if you have any stories, feel free to DM us, and we will talk to you next week for spooky season.
Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
In case you haven't heard from us enough today, come hang on Instagram at Socially Unfiltered Pod.
Join our group chat to stay updated in between episodes by texting group to 833-459-3349.
Download the Social Media Manager Business Blueprint to start building your business today.
And last but not least, grab your official Socially Unfiltered merch from our Bonfire store.
You can find everything linked in the episode description below or at sociallyunfilteredpod.com.
We'll meet you back here next week, same day, same time. Bye.
Bye.